going through the Stargate, going through the portal, once again. This is Skull Babylon, aka Brendan, aka your fellow dreamer, here with another video dream log, specifically related to me working once again with Syrian Rue. And of course, I made a video of this just a few days ago. Syrian Rue plants, which easily can be found here and there in terms of ordering it online or going down to a local Middle Eastern market and finding it there. Completely legal, but something that you can use within a tea. And it's an MAOI, so it helps sort of allow parts of the brain to function a little bit differently in terms of dreaming, which also allows you to be able to remember your dreams better and more vividly, and it allows more things to sort of come to the surface. And those of you who saw my last video dream log, again, you know, my process in doing this is obviously not to become dependent on Syrian Rue, but to be able to work with it as an ally, to be able to say that, you know, like any of these plants, any of the things here on this earth, they're tools, but they're also allies. So how can I sort of pull something out of the ether, so to speak, in allegiance with the Syrian Rue, to be able to have my own experience, but also to be able to deliver a message for us to be able to share on behalf of consciousness itself. And the way how I went about doing this, obviously, again, go back and watch my previous video if you haven't done that, or any of my other video dream logs. The way how I did this, so I did Syrian Rue 2 nights ago, and then 3 nights ago, and then 2 nights ago I didn't do Syrian Rue on purpose. So, you know, I had a pretty vivid experience, you know, things related to the Lego babies and cosmic shadow dancers and things like that. And then the next night I didn't use Syrian Rue, so I'm like, okay, you know, so that's what it was. Now let me just double check and let me just see, like, what are my dreams like without Syrian Rue one day after. And within that night I did notice a difference. My dreams weren't as sort of prophetic, as sort of symbolic. They were more kind of mundane, so to speak. Like the things, first of all, I didn't totally remember as much. I can say that. But what I did remember was sort of, it was like me kind of at my work. It was me like doing, you know, those people who are familiar with what I do, you guys know that I do like kids' birthday parties on weekends sometimes. And it was like me sort of dreaming that, and it didn't feel like there was anything super symbolic out of that. And then there was like another part where I was like walking through the mall or something, and there's like a food court or something, and that's really like all I sort of got out of it. There's one thing that sort of came through, and there's like this, like I remember seeing like a fox that had like multicolored fur or had like paint on him or something. And I remember I was like walking down the hall, and I like went into a bathroom, and there was like a fox there, and I was like looking around, and I was like what, like, why is this fox here? Like, is this fox like it looked like it was like hiding or something? And then I'm like, okay, it's like all right, dude, like I'll just, you know, like you're cool, you can stay there, you know. And that was like one thing that I do remember, but that was really it. And then last night, in terms of last night, what I pulled to the surface was really quite interesting, and that's what I'm going to share with you today, in terms of last night. And of course, the reason why I do this is because I want to be able to help encourage all of us to be able to continue to explore our dream recollection, regardless of whether or not it's with Syrian Rue. So I mean, checking, you know, writing down your dreams is obviously one of the most important things, and then just bringing more mindfulness into your day, you know, checking in with your breath, practicing meditation, just being more loving and kind to people, being more aware of your actions and your thoughts, and how your thoughts create your actions and create habits and create your biology, of course. And obviously, of course, being able to do things like reality checks, you know, like I talk all about that all day long. And yeah, little things like that, but just being able to invest more attention towards your dreams with the intention of being able to learn within both your dream state and within the waking state, and to be able to wake within your dreams and to work towards lucidity. So what I had last night, I wasn't fully lucid, but again, it was like playing through a play that some part of myself had written that in a lot of ways was very symbolic. So this is so I'm gonna get right into it. So the first part that I remember of my dream, and again, you know, like this is like I wrote it down, parts that I could remember. When I first went to sleep, I fell asleep for a bit. I actually tried listening to like Hemisync binaural beats while falling asleep. And those of you who want access to good Hemisync stuff, message me on Facebook. I'm not going to post that everywhere, but if you are interested, message me. And that way, you know, so I can know actually who's interested. The Hemisync thing, you know, binaural beats. Okay, quick thing on that. I will say a lot of people with binaural beats, they actually, I think a lot of people are missing the point with that, because with the binaural beats, oftentimes the good ones, the ones that I have, it creates a 3D object within like auditorial dimensional space. So a lot of people think that when they put on the binaural beats, they're just like, oh, I just put on these and then I like lucid dream or whatever. Not quite. What actually happens is you put on the headphones, and it creates like a 3D object that you can hear going around in a circle, and actually like goes behind you and passes through your, like, around in your head. And what that's actually supposed to do, you're actually supposed to use that as something to focus on. So as you're falling asleep, you pay attention to like this orb. So you're like listening, and it's like woo, 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 and you, that's honestly what it sounds like. And you can hear it going around. So by focusing on that, by keeping your concentration on that in the same way you would practice mindfulness on your breath, it allows you to maintain wakefulness as you transition into sleep, which can result in, you know, like going straight from dreaming into lucid dreaming or astral projection, if you want to think about it that way. But I started falling asleep with that. Didn't really fully get results out of that. But and then I woke up and I didn't really fully remember anything, so I'm like, whatever, I just put the Hemisync off to the side and then just fell asleep normally. So getting into the awesomeness of what these dreams happened. So what I remember, sort of the first thing that I remember within one part of my dream, I remember I was in an alley of a city. And there was stuff that was going on like the opposite sides of me. There was like a street on one side and a street on the other side, and I was right in the middle of an alley, and I was like packing my bag and I was getting my gear ready, and like I was like actually as if I almost woke up in my dream, as if I almost like woke up in the alley. And then I had my sleeping blankets, and I put my sleeping blankets in my bag, but I also had my camera and I had like some boots, and I was just loading up everything into my bag because I knew that stuff was about to happen. I knew stuff was about to go on. And then on one side of the alley, there was like a parade, and it was like passing by, and I didn't really engage with it, but I knew it was there. And to be honest, for some reason or another within my mind, it triggered as like I guess it was just some sort of like, whether it was gay rights or some sort of love parade or something, but it was something of that energy of just, you know, like really people celebrating and kind of like going past that way. And then I knew it was happening, but I was like still packing my bags, but I knew that something was coming. And then as that passed, I had all my gear ready, and then I remember like I think I ran into somebody else or something, and there was other people in the alleyway. And then when I like finally got my stuff ready and I got out onto the street, that's when I found there was like a group of people who were marching, opposed to like, well, you know, in the sense of kind of like a protest, a rally in that sense, opposed to like a parade sort of thing. And then there's also like military police who were like coming in from the other side. And so I was like kind of like going out into the street. So there's like, you know, people I actually recognized who were marching on one side. And I use the term marching kind of hesitantly, because oftentimes people associate marching with like militarism, but, you know, marching in the sense of protesting or standing up for themselves or something. And then there were like military on the other side. And again, like I'm not totally like anti-military or anything either, because like military, you know, they're people too, but I guess it's like what they sort of represent, which is like in often cases it can be representing oppression, not always. But what actually happened is that we're still good. There we go. Okay, I think we're still good. Weird. Okay, I don't know if it actually just paused there for a bit, but now it's recording again, so I don't know what happened there. So anyways, continuing my story from where I left off. Hopefully there was no time delay there or whatever. Time fell through a time portal or something. So anyways, what happened within the dream is that the military were like calling upon somebody within the crowd. They're like, give us somebody to talk to. Who can we talk to? And then I remember there was like some commotion about like who would represent the one side of these people. And then, so I mean, there was conversation and stuff that was happening, and it wasn't violent or anything. But then the trippy thing was, and this is just the first part of my dream. There's another dream that happened later, and I'm going to explain this, and it had some like really cosmic stuff in it, I feel. But within this dream, I'm just checking. Yeah, within this dream, what I remember happening is that like there's actually, it was trippy. There was actually like there's still the marching and stuff going on or whatever, and then I was like on another side of the street, and there was like a soldier who was standing there, and this is like almost like graphic and stuff like that. But he was standing there, and then I remember him like he like set an intention, and he knew what was about to happen, and this like happened like right in front of me. And basically like he took his helmet off, and then he put forth the idea. He's like, all right, this is about to happen, like something's about to happen. And then he basically got shot in the head, but my interpretation was he got shot by somebody who was like part of his group. So it was like sort of a false flag staged coup type thing, yet he sacrificed himself, and then as a result of this, it would like give the military group an excuse to engage against the protesters or something. So and then from there, like my memory isn't totally super vivid of what happened next, but I can feel some of what happened. Obviously there was like a little bit of like chaos, and you know, things came out of that, you know, like things started boiling and everything. But it was really, I mean, again, that's really interesting, you know. That was very vivid and also like very brutal, but also in some way a representation of like culture and like how that could actually happen. You know, people talk about like false flag attacks or something like that. Whether or not that's like something that may happen in the future, I don't know. Personally, I don't really get caught up in like the fear porn aspect of society. That, I mean, not that I don't pay attention to it, but I don't really like get like too like drawn up into it. And the idea would be I'd be like, oh, like FEMA camps, martial law, you know, like I'm aware of it, but I don't really get it. Doesn't stop me from doing what I'm sort of doing, or sort of thing. But I guess, yeah, no, it was just interesting, and I guess I'm still like interpreting it, and just within that moment of how I felt, I guess emotionally, you know, sometimes with dreams, it's important to not only try to interpret what they mean, but interpret how you feel about them, because sometimes it's hard to really say like what does this mean. But if you can say like, how do I feel, how did this dream make me feel, within that scenario, I can say that when like shit sort of hit the fan there, I was prepared. I was like, all right, okay, this is happening. This is going down. You know, like, what do we do? Like, that's, you know, like, engage, like, get, like, find other people, like, make sure, like, people are safe, like, make sure things are, you know, make sure I'm surviving, sort of thing. But again, I can't fully remember. Like, maybe things sort of like turned into a war zone in some way or another. It's hard to say, but that was what happened. So I mean, that was kind of what I was sharing with you. Again, like, I don't know, maybe that's like some sort of prophetic thing. Maybe that will be something that will actually, I hope, I mean, stuff like that is kind of already happening in some parts of the world, obviously. Not so much here in North America yet, but I mean, you know, like, obviously Ukraine, even in Turkey right now, there's huge protests and stuff in Turkey. So similar energies like that are existing in other parts of the world. People are experiencing that. So if people are experiencing that somewhere, then part of us, wherever we are, is part of that experience, which is kind of part of that collective idea of the hive mind. So that was one part of the dream. The next part of the dream, it was, again, there was another part that was like kind of brutal here, but the symbology of it quite different to interpret. I remember there wasn't a heck of a lot to remember, but what I do remember, I was like in the backyard of a place, of a house, and it almost felt like my old house or whatever. And I can't fully remember, but I remember sort of like hiding in shadows and avoiding detection from certain people or whatever. And then basically, like, there was a lady who was there, and my brain sort of interpreted it. It was very interesting. My brain sort of interpreted her as like a representation, as if someone who I knew, someone who I would have read about in a history book. Like, my brain told me that it was like someone recognizable, almost like a Marilyn Monroe or a famous singer or something. But what actually ended up happening is that, like, there were these other group of people, and they were almost like bad guys, so to speak. But then what actually happened, and I remember seeing this like, I knew this was part of the story, but what actually happened is that this lady was actually killed, and she was like sort of like executed, sort of thing. And whether or not this is totally like part of the first dream or not, like, it felt like it was a separate dream. But the thing that came to the surface with this is that, in my mind, in some way or another, I saw that lady, and the term cosmic serpent was what was in front of my mind. Like, I saw her as like the cosmic serpent, but kind of what I was saying in terms of like, I almost saw her as an artist, so, it was like the artist known as the cosmic serpent, kind of like a Madonna or a Lady Gaga, how they have names or whatever, right? So like, this woman, she was known as the cosmic serpent. So I mean, in that sense, the fact that she was like killed, but I knew that she didn't die. Like, she was still, her energy was like still existing, sort of thing. That was a very potent thing that sort of came through, and something that I was kind of interested by, because I mean, obviously, like, the cosmic serpent, one way it can be interpreted is like the cosmic knowledge of like the awakening of the soul, of the awakening of the spiritual energy that is within all of us, sort of thing. And if you even just run a search on like the cosmic serpent or the cosmic serpent woman, things will come up, and you'll get a lot of like symbolic imagery, like esoteric stuff relating way back. So I mean, the cosmic serpent is a very esoteric thing. And so what does it mean when I see this as like a depiction of a woman who gets killed, but then I know that she's not dead, and then like I know that her energy, her memory is like living on within us, within my actions, within your actions, and we have to sort of help know that she's not like death is not the end, sort of thing, and help sort of bring it to the surface, and be able to like continue to be that cosmic serpent energy. So that was a very interesting thing that happened. But yeah, like, that again, like, I saw that lady as being someone who is like a celebrity within culture. People knew who she was, sort of thing. So it was very interesting in that sense. And then after that, I remember I saw this happen from the shadows, and then there was like another group of people, and they were looking for me, and they were trying to find me. And then I was like, there was like a tree line with a fence next to it, and I was like kind of like hiding. I could see them looking on one side, and I was like kind of hiding in another place, and they couldn't find me. And then eventually they left, and then eventually like I was like, okay, yeah. And then and then after they left, I remember I was like in the backyard of like a house that I was temporarily staying in. And then I remember after that, I was like, all right, now that they're gone, now that I can prepare, like, I can't stick around here. Like, I gotta go. I gotta be on the move. Like, they're gonna come back at some point. I only got so much time to sort of pack my gear and say goodbye to the people, because I felt like I was staying at that house temporarily. Like, I was living with another family, so I had to like go back into my room, prepare my stuff, and like leave a note for the family saying like, thank you for your hospitality, but like I have to go now. And so that was kind of like the last part that I remember in my dream, is that I was preparing myself to leave, to go somewhere, to like go on a journey, or to, not be stuck in one place, sort of thing. So I mean, that was kind of again, like symbolic sort of stuff. But yeah, that in itself is kind of where the dream recall ended. So I mean, I can say that like using the Syrian Rue does make a difference. It does change the sort of format of some of the dreams. And again, I'll continue to sort of work with Syrian Rue, then not work with Syrian Rue, then work with Syrian Rue, and not work with Syrian Rue. I mean, I only have at this point, you know, a limited supply, so I have to be reserving with it as well. And also just like very like, you know, have respect for the Rue, have respect for the intelligence of the plant, being able to work with my own consciousness, which is what these plants are, a lot of these plants are here for, is to work with our consciousness. So I mean, yeah, I'm really fortunate to be able to have these experiences, to be able to share them with you. Other than that, there's one sort of idea that I wanted to mention real quick, because it was something that I was thinking about yesterday, and I posted about it the other day, the idea that we are the timeless daemons. Daemon is a term used within computer analogy, computer metaphors, and it refers to like an operating program that's kind of running in the background. And what I mean by we are the timeless daemons, this actually corresponds into the sense with like deja vu and stuff like that. It sort of means that there is us who is like playing this human form, but then there is the higher version of us, the daemon, the higher self, if you want to use that term, who is the more true version of who we are, who has played ourselves throughout numerous lifetimes. So like we in our sense are kind of like the avatar, and like the Brendan who I am now is the character who my daemon is playing, but the daemon is actually who I really am, is actually who you really are. And then the daemon has these memories of multiple lifetimes that we have lived through, so the daemon can almost be thought of as the soul or whatever. But in terms of like levels, it's interesting when you just sort of think about it this way, when you sort of understand that oftentimes like maybe deja vu is us sort of going through a point in our life that we've been through before, because we've like sort of played out numerous lifetimes multiple times over to be able to like get further, which sort of corresponds to this idea that maybe like deja vu happens less later in life because you haven't lived that far before, sort of thing. Like it's newer, so the newer the newer an experience is, the less deja vu you might have. The more deja vu you might have means that you've been here before, but you're also like you're in the right place, like you're doing good, you're where you need to be to get to where you're going, sort of thing. So that was just kind of an idea that I had in mind, just sort of being able to live from the perspective of who we think we are is only a fraction of who we really are. So think about yourself. Who are you as the daemon? Can you walk through life understanding that you are choosing to play this character who you are right now, but you are more than just the character who you are right now, sort of sense. And the daemon has perspective beyond the linear time, which in itself corresponds to dreaming, because I think within dreams we can do that. We can pull information from the past and from the future, and then it can sort of come up to the surface symbolically within our dreams, which in itself is a very interesting thing, how these messages get interpreted like through the symbolism of our dreams. Like you know, like what program is creating these symbols? What program is saying like, oh, like that's a good way to like represent this symbolically? You know, it's almost as if there's a part of ourselves that is like this infinite artist that is able to use symbolism to be able to like represent things almost what feels like instantaneously, sort of thing. So I mean, you know, the whole idea of that thing with the cosmic serpent, like that is something within my dreams, and I'm saying that, you know, just for myself, but I mean, I think it's really interesting that some way or another my dreams are affected by the intention that I plan on sharing them. So in some ways, yes, my dream is mine, but it's also something that I'm intending to share, and not all of them. I'm not always going to share all my dreams, and I don't suggest you do that either. You know, dreams can be a very personal thing, obviously, but I think it's very interesting that whole symbolic representation of the cosmic serpent within the woman who was executed in some way, but we still know that she lives on, sort of thing within us. I think that's very something, that's very potent, that's very something there. The cosmic serpent in itself is just like incredibly esoteric. So maybe look into that. Maybe run some searches on the cosmic serpent, see what you can find. Even just Google image search, see what you can find, you know, and then like leave any comments below as to like maybe what your interpretation of my dream might be. Not that I'm asking you to interpret it, but what does it mean to you, in the sense that I'm like sharing it with you. So that's kind of what is an interesting part of this experiment, I guess you can say. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this video up, and again, just encouraging you to practice your own dream habits. Just in terms of Paradigm Shift community news, obviously, if you haven't checked out the website, paradigmshiftcentral.com, if you're just stumbling upon this video, then definitely check that out for more conscious media. One thing I will say is that we are looking for more people to contribute their own videos. So maybe you have your own video dream logs, or just videos of you talking to your camera. Again, if you have QuickTime Player, go to QuickTime Player and then go to File, Record New Movie, and then create a video just like this off your laptop, and then upload this to YouTube and submit it to the content creators group, or message me on Facebook. And we want more people to submit their videos so that we can practice sharing your content with a global audience, so that we can give you a platform to share your voice. So if you've been thinking about making videos about inspiration, expanding consciousness, things that get your gears turning, things that you want to practice sharing, because that's really what this is. This is about being able to practice sharing. Don't think as if you're trying to like meet someone else's expectations. Just put your heart out there and practice sharing your voice. Your videos can be as professional or as amateur as they want, but what I want to be able to do is to help give you a platform to share that with a global audience, and to give you motivation to create these videos, so that you know that people are going to be seeing them, and people who care about them will be seeing them, and to know that your videos are going to inspire other people to create their own videos, or to just be more of who they are. So very exciting stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can join the content creators group. You can find the links to that through the paradigmshiftcentral.com/is, or just message me on Facebook and I'll get you synced up, facebook.com/skullbabylon. And other things, global meditation is happening this Saturday. If you don't know about that, Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 1 p.m. EDT, Saturday, March 15th. Go to facebook.com/paradigmshiftradio to get the links for that. And we will be doing a show on Sunday for Paradigm Shift Radio. Not entirely sure what the topic will be, so stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll talk about dreaming and everything. And the t-shirts, the Paradigm Shift t-shirts, we have sold 8 out of 13. There have been 8 orders placed so far. Once we get 13 orders placed, then we will be able to ship those out. That's just the way how the website sort of works. So encouraging people to place their order for that if that is something that they're interested in. They got some cool shirts, red shirts. Red is the color of action, red is the color of change, and it says choose to be the change you wish to see. The tools themselves are meant to sort of spark conversation and just evoke conscious remembrance, and they have the Paradigm Shift sigil on it, the one that's right over there, that one on his shirt. So pretty cool, pretty excited to get one for myself, obviously. And obviously the buttons, you can get the I always mix it up. It's not, there you go. You can get the buttons through the main website as well. So if you want a button like that, then you can place an order for a button and ask for a random selection to get bonus buttons with your orders. And other than that, Journey to Lucidity funding, still raising funds for that, and anybody who wants to be able to see the movie early, the sequel for that, please contribute to that. You'll be able to contribute at any point, and I'm going out to Lucidity in April, and part of me doing all this is me preparing for Lucidity also, being able to just like become more aware on multiple levels for myself, and to be able to like become as prepared as I can be for the Lucidity Festival itself, which in itself will be all about like dream exploration within the movie and everything. So obviously those of you familiar with that, you can go back and check out the first movie online and everything. So pretty sure that's everything for now. So thank you for your support. Thank you for checking out this video. Again, I encourage you to continue to practice your own dream exploration habits. Go write down your dreams. Be excited to get engaged with your dreams. If you're smoking cannabis, try smoking less cannabis. That will affect your dream recall. And just continue to put forth an intention, and to be able to continue to like ask the universe for these experiences, and they will come to you. And to just be consistent, have willpower, and also be patient, because the experiences will come when they come. So don't try and force it. And yeah, we'll wrap it up there. So with that said, my daemon sees, honors, and respects the daemon that you are as well. So until next time, I will see you in the future, And join the feel free to join the live chat through the main paradigmshiftcentral.com website. I always encourage people to do that, and you can find the links for that right through the main website. And just say hello, and yeah, join the discussion group too. And I'm usually on there, and yeah, we can chat sometime. So you can ask me any questions, you can share any experiences that you want with me. I'm pretty readily available, and I look forward to hearing more about your journeys as we all continue to remember more of who we are. So exciting stuff. We are active citizens participating in this evolving cosmic experience. So cool story, isn't it? I know. Glad you're a part of it too. All right, guys. Peace out. One love. Cheers.